Today is known as Star Wars Day because May the 4th be with you. Get it? The annual celebration is a chance for fans to indulge in lightsaber battles and to binge their favorite installments. But even if you aren't a huge fan of what happened in a galaxy far, far away, this franchise probably still changed your life. So we're breaking down how Star Wars left an impact on the world. First up, movie merchandising. It may seem weird now, but action figures of your favorite movie character weren't really a thing before Star Wars. But in a huge stroke of luck, director George Lucas retained the merchandising rights for the movie and licensed a toy maker to create action figures, spaceships, vehicles. Let's just say they were pretty popular and an industry was born. By the way, those merchandising rights for Star Wars are now worth billions. Next, the sci-fi masterpiece actually inspired a new religion. In 2001, nearly 390,000 people, we're talking almost 400,000 people in the United Kingdom, declared on their census their religion was Jedi, making it the fourth largest faith in the country. You can also thank Star Wars for some of your favorite video games. The designer behind Space Invaders wanted to make a shooting game but didn't know where it would be set. After seeing Star Wars, he had his answer, and 1,000 space adventures were born. Finally, there may be a little love lost between Star Wars and Star Trek fans, but it turns out Trekkies do owe Star Wars fans a debt of gratitude. Because when Paramount saw the success of the original Star Wars, it agreed to make a movie based on the short-lived but much-loved Star Trek series. I gotta ask guys, do you guys have a favorite Star Wars movie? It's controversial, but I think mine is Rogue One. I love that one.
I was just going to say, I don't know if we have enough time. Brandy, I listened to all of that and I learned so much from you. I learned so much just now.
I wish I could take full credit, but it was our producer, Polly. She loves Star Wars.